Well, here I am at the house again, and if you remember last time, these walls had just sheetrock on it and taped and topped and skimmed and sanded. And remember I said that they were going to texture these walls. This is called imperfect smooth. Now everybody has their own type of way to install imperfect smooth. They don't all necessarily look the same. It's kind of hard to see on the wall because it almost looked like the wall's been painted, but this is just the color of the drywall mud when they mixed it up, and they made it a little bit wet, and as they applied it, you see these lines here. See, here's another line, and that's their version of imperfect smooth. Now I've seen imperfect smooth installed other ways to finish too, that maybe you get some of these lines, but you get some little indentations inside the mud too. But they didn't do it that way. But in order to install this, they have to put it all on by hand. I mean, we're talking hours and hours and hours of doing this, and that's why imperfect smooth, whenever you decide to do that, costs more than regular spray texture, because with spray texture, you just spray it on the wall, knock it down, let it dry, sand it, and away you go. This, you have to have the sheetrockers come back, and they actually install an entire layer over all of the walls, all of the ceilings, and all that. So that's what I wanted to show you about the imperfect smooth. And like I say, it's kind of hard to see. You're going to see it a little bit more after they get done painting. This has not been done. This has not been painted yet. They are still prepping, getting ready to paint. They've installed their window stool and apron. I call this a window stool, and this is the apron underneath. And see how they did nicely. They cut around here at an angle, going around your bullnose. They have not prepped this yet. They still have to caulk it and all that kind of stuff. Sand it, prime it, paint it. But you can see they started masking off the windows, and they're getting ready to paint. I've talked to the owner. He said they've been here a couple days getting ready to paint. I'll take you downstairs here in a minute. Okay? And this is how you do it. Now they've taken off these doors. These are the interior doors. They've already, I thought this was kind of interesting. They've already taken these doors off. These are the ones upstairs. They've hung the doors. These were called pre-hang doors. They come on here, and then they install it, and then they take the doors out. But I found it very interesting. See here, they've numbered these. This one's 13. They're leaving all of these hinges on. I just do not understand why they're doing this. Before they paint, they're leaving all these hinges on the frames, and they're leaving them on the doors. They're going to paint the doors in place with the hinges. See, here's the numbers. See here? They're leaving these on. I just don't understand that. Hey, look at this. Look at all the numbers. If I was doing all the painting, or if I had painters, if I was a general contractor and I was having the painters, I would absolutely have these hinges taken off, have the hinges taken off the door frames. Let me show you why. I'm going to bring you downstairs here, because they've already painted the door jambs downstairs. See, they started down here. Now here's a door that they've already painted. I'm not sure if they've got two coats on here or not. Let's just see first off if they've got the hinges on here. See here? Look at that. They've got the hinges on, and they painted it with the hinges on. And now see, they've already painted the door jambs, and they left the hinges on. Why on earth would you want to do that? I'll show you a reason why you don't do that, because when you do that, they caulk this. They run their caulking on here. Well, from here down, you can't caulk from this point down to this point. So you can see here when they caulk this, there's your caulking right there that you're gonna see that. When you pull that masking tape off, this has not been caulked from here to there on every single one of these. Are you kidding me? Why would they do that? See, look at that. That is not my envision of a $1 million, $2 million house getting painted with leaving these hinges on and caulking just from there up to there. You can see where they stopped the caulking. See there? Right there. You can see where they stopped it there. You can see right there. And you come down here. Look at all that. How are you going to clean that off when you pull that off? You pull this masking tape off of here. I just don't quite get that. And see here's the doors. And they've set them here. This on the weekend. It's kind of hot down here because they've got the heater on and all that. And I'm just very surprised that they've see how far they've angled these doors away from the wall. See how far that is from here to there. It's almost like if you put these doors out any further, they might slide off. But that's not what I would be concerned about. I would be concerned about if the door bows as it's drying that way. Whenever I painted doors, I wouldn't put them that far away. Now see how far that one is? I would lean them up against the wall a little bit closer so that they're not, you don't possibly get a bow. Now I guess they didn't really care. See, these are way further away from these doors than these. This one's angled pretty good, but look how far this one's angled away from the wall. I would just be concerned with that. Now see, here, let's talk about the window stool and apron. See, this is nice. This turned out really good. They caulked this really nice. They got this all finished off of there. And I'm just jumping around here. The owner said, yeah, they use these, and the guy was telling them why they use these. Have you ever seen these? I've never seen these before. He said, oh yeah, they screw these onto the door, and then they move the doors around when they're painted. And you lift the door up. Now, I don't know where they did that, because you don't see any screws on the side of the door. You would never do that on the side. Maybe they did it on the top or something, and the bottom, or just the top, and they lifted them. I have no idea. I wish I was here when they sanded those and painted the doors so I could see how they work those. But hey, it is what it is. And apparently, talking about the painting still, they painted the ceilings already. They sprayed the ceilings, and it was interesting because this paint on the ceiling almost looks like the sheetrock mud. It's the same color. These walls here, all the walls in here have not been painted yet, but the ceiling's been painted. Isn't that weird? Well, when they get ready to paint the walls, it'll probably be a slightly different color than the ceiling when they get ready to do that. And they'll do that next. Every painter has their own method on how they set up and how they prime things and how they paint things and get everything ready. I thought that was kind of different. They just have flat trim, eased edge trim, and the top is a little bit bigger than the sides. Hey, that's what they chose. That's what they decided. Okay, and that'll look really nice when it gets all done. Okay, so painting in progress. Maybe I'll come down here when they get done painting. I'll show you that, or another time. And this was semi-gloss, and they used that for their doors and their frames and door jambs and stuff. And I was interested to see what they're going to do paint-wise on the walls, because a lot of times, like if I was doing painting on walls, I would use eggshell. But I don't think they're going to use eggshell. Eggshell is a low sheen enamel paint. I think they're just using flat, because I looked over here See, this looks like interior flat paint. Okay, and it looks like that's going to be the color. Now I don't know where they've done that, but I think they're gonna paint all of the walls with flat paint. And yeah, this is all the semi-gloss for their doors, door jambs, their door frames, their trim, and the shelving. Their shelving, they're going to probably do that same way, and all of that. Okay. And speaking of painting, where was that door? They have a door somewhere that's got, when they ordered it, it came with the glass panels. Where is that? They obviously they took the doors down. But when they ordered the doors, it was right here. There's a set of double doors here, and it has the glass panels, you know, the inserts and stuff. And when they ordered that, it came with window film on the actual glass, and I thought that was slick. So when they paint those, they just peel that off later, and then they don't have to cut it in or mask off those window panes. Now this one here, they might have done that with this one too. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, that's all I have to tell you about painting on this particular video. I'm gonna talk more about that another time. Now we're talking about prepping the drywall and stuff, and they did a really super good job on prepping this, sanding off the edges, and they've already done their texture. This is a spray. This is not spray texture. This is knockdown, or not knockdown. It's an imperfect smooth is what they call it, and they have to do it by hand. And see, when they do it by hand, they have to coat the entire walls and the ceilings and all that. And you know, what they could have done is, if I was the general contractor on this job, and I had the sheetrockers in here doing their imperfect smooth, I would tell them, hey, I want you to take your drywall mud, and I want you to go all the way down. I don't want you to skimp on it and leave it up. See how high this is right here, from here, and see how it's really thick right there and stuff. Depending what type of baseboard you put on there, your baseboard might not fit on there nice and flat because you've got your mud. See how thick the mud is right there. But then your baseboard's going to go all the way down or ½ inch up off the floor, depending what they put on here. They put hardwood floors. You don't want your baseboard, depending how thick your baseboard is, how tall it is, what kind of design it is. You don't want that to be wavy back and forth along the wall because your mud wasn't brought down all the way. Okay, that's what I would have to say about that. And the other thing was, I was looking at the crawl hole. Lots of times the crawl hole, like for your ceiling, here it is. Let's just talk about this for a minute. It looks like it's really nice, right? Okay, see how they put the bullnose trim around there and everything? And then that piece of sheetrock there, you lift that piece of sheetrock up and then you're up in the ceiling. But look what they've done. You see where the inside corner is from sheetrock coming up to the bottom of your crawl hole piece. There's not even a mark there. It looks like they finished it and they didn't. They put the mud on there and stuff, but they didn't leave a gap where there. First person who goes up through there, they're going to have to score the edges all the way around with a sheetrock knife or push it up, and now you're gonna have a wonky angle piece up there, and you're gonna have a discoloration, and your ceiling piece might have sheetrock mud on it and stuff. And what I would have done there is the little pieces coming up the sides, I would have put an L metal right there. Kind of looks like half of a sheetrock corner, and it's got a nice top edge on it, and then you nail it down on the side of the sheetrock, and then it goes over the top edge, that metal. And then you'd have a nice straight metal edge around there, and then you would cut the piece of sheetrock and then just drop it down from there, and then every time you finish your mud, have that top piece lifted off of there. And see, when they did their imperfect smooth, I bet you they didn't lift that up. I would have had them lift that up and run the imperfect smooth over the entire piece of sheetrock. Okay, so later, and then set the piece down here, so later on you could put it down after they got all ready. As it is, when they lift that up, there's going to be a line around there, and depending on how straight that line is or whatever, you're always going to have a rough edge. When you lift that up, you're going to have a rough edge on the top edge of your sheetrock that goes up the side. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would have done differently on that. I'm just walking through here. They really did a good job when they were prepping the drywall. And see, they did the bullnose edges, and they kept all of the sheetrock mud off of here. They sanded these. You want those nice and smooth when you paint. Even I've seen and they've already done the imperfect smooth texture on here. Now, the question would become, if you spray textured all of these walls, would you then wouldn't you leave the spray texture on these bullnosed edges? Well, I've seen it both ways. And the one thing is, if you brush up against those, you have a tendency of the spray texture starting to come off right here, okay, in certain areas. So, you know, you talk to different spray texture guys, and one guy may say, oh, you leave your spray texture on there. Another guy might say, well, you're going to leave your spray texture on here, but then you're going to sand these so that that's smooth, so that your spray texture, depending how heavy your spray texture is, if you got a heavy spray texture knockdown, chances are some of your spray texture might not get knocked off of here, and then it shows your metal after you've finished painting. If you do an orange peel or a light spray texture, then maybe you leave it over this edge. I don't know. I mean, you're just going to have to decide on that for yourself.